Rami X back on another video. Please on today's video. Make sure to like, share the video to a friend, like, so this is anime content in general. If this is not your first rodeo or your first time on the channel, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, as I would appreciate it, as well as the fact that I would like to see you guys' thoughts and feelings about the video with some comments down below. And if you are interested, I post what ifs on another channel of mine known as Rami XZ, where I post what ifs and discussion videos. But with that being said, we can get into the backstory of this what if. But before that, if any of you are wondering why I remastered this video, or, made a remake, or whatever you want to call it, it's because I promised to. You see, every 1,000 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers, a goal of mine for, ever since I started this channel, I will be remastering a series that I think, has brought me to where I am today. And this is one of them. Anyways, let's get into the video. Ancient. An ancient dojutsu. Ancient, goes by many definitions, to say the least. When searching up and, just trying to find the right definition for ancient, I encountered, to be more specific, a lot of problems. By that I mean the definitions. For instance, ancient can mean, at least as an adjective, belonging to the very distant past and no longer in existence. An example of such thing is the ancient civilizations of the Mediterranean. Now, there is another, I guess you could say, definition. An old person, or, an old person. But with that being said, there are other terms of ancient. So I also had to figure out another thing. And what is that thing, you may be asking? How old is ancient? What age do you have to be to be considered ancient? So I looked this up, right? And it said roughly 5,000 years ago, and I was like, that's way too long, at least for the Naruto story. So I kept looking, right? Then I found out that you would have to at least be, 1,400 to 1,500 years old to be considered ancient in a historical sense. So then I was like, that suits the timeline pretty well, so that's what we're going to go with in that definition. 14 to 1,500 years as being ancient. But now that we've got the definition of ancient out of the way, we can now explain this ancient dojutsu, and we can now fully get into the quote-unquote Naruto timeline. Dojutsu come in all shapes and forms. Not only that, but they come with many powers, techniques, and advantages. Most notably, the Hyuga's Byakugan, giving you the ability of almost 360-degree vision with one blind spot, which most do not know of. You can also count the Sharingan, a dojutsu so powerful that most of our strongest, at least that we know of, ninja and even some protagonist and antagonist are Uchiha and possess said dojutsu. This dojutsu gives you advanced perception and the ability to very strong genjutsus. You could say that an Uchiha himself, that being Shisui Uchiha, has the strongest genjutsu of them all. Now, an ancient dojutsu does not need to be powerful, but for the sake of this video, it shall. Maybe it's just me, but I do prefer a dojutsu that's powerful. I prefer a dojutsu that, lends the wielder strength. My bad. Had to clear my throat. Now, how would this dojutsu come to be? Pretty simple, at least in my mind. Now, I am, making this up while I go, since this is from the top of my head, but the dojutsu was made as followed. Many Otsutsukis gathered in a room as they thought of a power that they could have, that would allow them to not have to destroy planets and eat the fruits that are harvested from them, or to gain a power so that they do not have to fuse with one another. And they did. These old Otsutskis were scientists. Powerful scientists at that, but still scientists. In my mind, they may have even been stronger than people like Naruto and Sasuke today in Boruto. Naruto Next Generations. But that is out of the question. Heck, that doesn't even matter. Because they are not the people who we are focusing on in the story. Not today, at least. Each scientist would pour their chakra into a ball, as they would then create a ball of chakra. We have seen chakra take physical form, most notably in the tailed beast. Quite literally, beings of chakra. So it's not too out of the ordinary to say that a ball of chakra could be made. You could actually call the Rasengan such a thing. It is truly just rotated chakra within one's hand. But I'll continue. Now, these Otsutsuki would put said ball within a test tube-like chamber. By that I mean a glass that was a cylinder-like shape, pretty big, and was within water. Now, this ball would then be absorbed by the water, and what I mean is that the water would kind of just like absorb the chakra. How this is going to work, we'll say it's a scientist's invention. But this scientist had another idea. Why not let others be able to have this power? You could call these people good, or you could just call them pacifist. You see, most Otsutsuki we see are evil, tyrants, and things of the sort. But these people do not want to fight. You can call them either weak, or you can call them pacifist, people who do not wish for violence and would rather stray from it. But at the end of the day, they are Otsutskis. But also at the end of the day, they want others to be able to experience what they do. They want others to not have to fight. They disagree with the philosophy of going from planet to planet and destroying everything. They disagree with the philosophy of absorbing one another in a sort of cannibalistic manner. They disagree with the regular morals of the Otsutsuki. I don't know how, and you, the viewer, will also not know how, but a dojutsu will be made. It is not clear how a dojutsu is formed, nor how it is created. You can take formed and created in the same light. Heck, you can call them the same thing, but truly they are not. The formation of a thing would be the visible shape or configuration of something. So, like the body, shape, etc., etc. Maybe even the color. But creation and things of the sort, well, it's kind of different. By that I mean, to create would be to bring something into existence. So, that is this dojutsu. And what I mean by that is that a dojutsu would be made. Like I said before, we're not too sure on how dojutsus are actually made. So, for the sake of the story, we'll say that they're made how? Well, these scientists are making them. Not normal dojutsu, like the Sharingan, Byakugan, Tenseigan, etc., etc. The Tenseigan being a bit of a, I guess you could call it a wild card of sorts. But we'll basically say that artificial dojutsu are made as follows. 3 people pour their chakra within one object, or create, or form an object. They then put said object into water, which said water can absorb said chakra, which then causes a dojutsu to be formed. This Dojutsu is going to work as follows. It is going to work in a way similar to the blade known as Excalibur. If you, the viewer, does not know what Excalibur is, well, it's kind of simple. It's a blade that grows stronger with its wielders, at least in the definition that I'm aware of. Of course, there are many, tales and stories, historical events, and things of the sort that tell otherwise, but for the sake of the story, Excalibur is going to be a blade that grows with its wielder, or each wielder. For example, the first wielder is very strong and has, strong attributes, is fast, etc., etc. The sword is going to be fast. The sword will be strong. That is going to be the definitions for this. That is not the necessary definition of the actual Excalibur, but that's what it's going to be in this timeline. But with that being said, I shall continue. These scientists would be the first wielders of this dojutsu, as they would be praised throughout the Otsutsuki clan, not only for bringing many of their members' lives, and by that I mean making many of their members not have to die, going out on planets, and maybe even encountering alien-like species, or maybe even humanoid-like species that could kill them. And it actually brought a pacifist-like system into the Otsutsukis, but many still attacked planets, and went from planet to planet growing stronger. Similar to the Saiyan race from Dragon Ball Z, if any of you know what that is. These scientists were extraordinarily powerful. Of course, they're innately powerful because of the fact that they're Otsutsukis, but besides that, they would just be powerful themselves. They weren't scientists just because they were. They knew knowledge and they were powerful. But with that being said, there is also something else that this dojutsu grants. Whenever one person who wields the dojutsu dies, their soul is trapped within. Similar to One for All from My Hero Academia, but not at all the same. Not only that, but this sword brings advanced perception, advanced ability to negate against genjutsu, though it is not full negation, if you will, to genjutsu, but it is advanced negation, or, protection to genjutsu. Not only that, but it grants the ability to use all 5 chakra natures. I'm going to give it this ability. See no reason why not. And maybe you do follow, maybe you don't, but a lot of these abilities are like the Renegon. And I feel so it should be. Why, you may be asking, as these are 2 different dojutsu. Well, it's pretty simple, at least in my mind. The Renegon is shown to be with most Otsutsukis who are high-ranking, or just, Otsutsukis in general. And if they don't have the Renegon, they have the Byakugan, and, well, that's that. But I think that I've covered enough about how this dojutsu is formed and things of the sort, and how artificial dojutsus are going to be formed just in this timeline. And since this dojutsu is, more than our 1,400 to 1,500 years old, standpoint / view, if you will, this dojutsu is going to be ancient. Naruto would be lucky. By that I mean he would be chosen. Chosen by the gods, or chosen by destiny. Well, that is in you, the viewer's hands. By that I mean, if you interpret it as destiny, or if you interpret it as the gods giving Naruto a great deal of power, well, then that's that. But now you may be, telling me that I'm wrong about what I said previously, that this dojutsu was basically gifted to others and that it was gifted through the Otsutsuki clan. Well, Naruto kind of is a bit of a plot hole in that. Since Naruto is the reincarnation of a member of the Otsutsuki clan, that being, the man we know as Asura. Asura and Indra are the reincarnations known as Naruto and Sasuke, and Naruto is the reincarnation of Asura. So, I see no reason why we can't, just bend the story a little. In this timeline, we're going to say for the sake of the story that Naruto was chosen due to the fact that he does have Otsutsuki lineage. Not only that, but he's kind of tied to the Senju due to his Uzumaki and, well, his other clan, the Namikaze, though they don't really give you anything in terms of Kekkei Genkai. But with that being said, Naruto will be chosen, and I think that that's enough for me to say that we can now start the story. And by that I mean the Naruto timeline. Everything I've said before this point was all debriefing on the Dojutsu, a few of its capabilities, and things of the sort. As we get deeper into this part, or not even this part, but the parts to come, if the series goes further, well then, we will see. And we will get much more skills that the Dojutsu has. We'll get more knowledge about it, more knowledge about the people who create it, things of the sort. Anyhow, we shall now begin. A baby was born to two people, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Most of us are familiar with this tale. Heck, most of us has heard it dozens of times. Naruto would go on to grow up like he had in canon. Hiruzen not fulfilling his promise to make Naruto known as a hero. Instead, Naruto would be seen as more monstrous, demonic, and evil. Naruto was seen as, well, a child with no hope. A child who was a monster, an abomination, and things of the sort. Naruto was not looked up to. He was not looked at with a great deal of respect like his father Minato had wanted him to. Instead, he was belittled, beaten, bullied, etc. by the people of the village who saw Naruto as a monster. Even though Naruto was in a way responsible for their lives. By that I mean military power. Maybe it's just me and I don't want to ramble too much in this video since I do want to stay on track, but Jinchuriki in general are treated horribly in their villages, even though without them, the military power of said village would be disrupted and they would be prone to attack. So in a way, a Jinchuriki is the sole reason why their village stays protected. Maybe it's just me who thinks that, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jinchuriki are meant to be bullied. Maybe Jinchurikis are, meant to be hated and things of the sort. But I'd say at least respect them, or at least be at even grounds with them, because at the end of the day, maybe their tail beast killed many people that you loved, but it is also why you are not dead. Is it not? Maybe it's just me. Anyways, back to the story. We now have a time skip from this period on, with Naruto being currently of about 4 years, making Naruto 8 years old. Naruto would enter the academy. Years of bullying and years of torment in his life, he wanted to be acknowledged. He wanted to become the Hokage, and he knew it. One day he had even stared at the Hokage faces and knew what he wanted under the moonlit sky. Naruto would succeed in the academy. Contrary to the canon, his chakra control was somehow perfect. And yes, that may be very surprising, but somehow it was perfect. Was this the Dojutsu starting to manifest? Was this a power deeply hidden within Naruto? Well, it really just depends on your outlook on it. Was this a power gifted to Naruto by the Otsutsuki, or was this just Naruto being good at chakra control? Either way. Anyhow, Naruto would somehow be great at chakra control as he learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Not only that, or the Clone Jutsu, since the Shadow Clone and Clone Jutsu are very different. Anyhow, Naruto learned the Clone Jutsu, as I still do see Naruto, rising through the ranks of the academy, but in different ways. Naruto is in no way the sharpest tool in the shed, or if you don't understand that, analogy, the smartest person in the room, but he is more or less the strongest. I see Naruto training to boost his skill, strength, speed, and just overall get closer to becoming Hokage, even though he knew that it was miles away. Naruto also knew that he was gifted because he felt an extreme amount of power within him. And whenever he fought, whenever he trained, whenever he did anything, he felt power rising within for some odd reason. Naruto would continue to train as he loved training, and his favorite food would still be ramen, as ramen provides carbohydrates, otherwise known as carbs, which are great for training and are great for energy. Anyhow, Naruto would continue to pursue his dream of Hokage as 4 more years would pass. Within these 4 years, Naruto has gotten a lot stronger, and this dojutsu of Naruto's, the ancient dojutsu that the Otsutsuki scientist formed a trio, if you will, to create, slowly started to rise up within Naruto. Naruto, at this point, would still be manipulated by Mizuki. I see no reason why this wouldn't happen. He still is a quote-unquote knucklehead ninja, and even though he, in most cases, should still become, a genin, I see no reason why he wouldn't want to get even more power. I see Mizuki kind of having the word in a different way, though. So, he's not going to be like, oh, you'll be able to become a ninja. Instead, he's going to be like, oh, you'll be able to get closer to becoming a Hokage, knowing of Naruto's great ambition, and Naruto basically going along with it as a scroll with so much power should give him a lot of power. Naruto would steal a scroll, instead learning and writing down a few jutsu. First, he would learn the multi-shadow clone jutsu, just like in canon, but he would also write down a few jutsu. In particular, the Edo Tensei jutsu, the Rasengan, the Chidori, and the wind-style air bullet. Not only that, but he was also able to write down the summoning jutsu, which was a bit complicated, but he felt that he could maybe get a grasp on it. Naruto would then hand the scroll over to Mizuki, but it was not actually the scroll. Instead, it was a rock disguised as a scroll. Naruto was actually using Mizuki and not the other way around. Mizuki had been fooled. Naruto would hold the scroll as he would toss it to Mizuki, but like I stated, it was not the scroll. Mizuki would catch it, seeing it and holding it, it felt very heavy, as he would dismiss it. A scroll with many jutsu within, a scroll with many pages, should be pretty heavy. But this heavy, Mizuki thought, but like I said, he would dismiss it. Naruto would smirk as he would tell Mizuki that he thanks him for letting him learn so much jutsu. Mizuki would raise an eyebrow at this, as Naruto would explain. That is merely a rock. Naruto would then put his hands together to form the rat hand seal, as the rock would now be in Mizuki's hands. Mizuki would immediately drop the rock out of shock, as he would look to Naruto, now enraged that he had been fooled by a mere kid, by somebody who wasn't even a genin and a mere academy student, as Naruto's eyes would turn a bright pinkish color. Mizuki would drop his jaw at what he was seeing in front of him. A boy with stark blonde hair and pink eyes? Mizuki would turn his head as Naruto would ask what's wrong, as Mizuki would explain, your eyes, they are pink. Naruto would basically widen his eyes as he would drop his jaw as well. Naruto would then look through his belongings, as he would basically find a kunai that he had been playing with for training and basically been figuring out how to use earlier that day. Naruto would then see his reflection with it, as he saw that his eyes were pink. Naruto would smirk. Pretty cool, don't you think? Mizuki wouldn't really know what to say, as he'd be at a loss for words. Cool, he did not think it was, but interesting, he definitely felt it was. Mizuki would tell Naruto that though he has maybe unlocked some sort of dojutsu, he is no match for a Chunin, especially since Naruto's only a genin. Naruto would laugh. I'm not your average genin. I've been training for years to become Hokage. Hokage, do you really think that you can become Hokage? Do you think that the people will like you as their leader, the person who took everything from them? What do you mean, Mizuki? Naruto would ask. As Mizuki would explain, you are the Nine Tails. And this is where Naruto would figure out such a secret. Now, Naruto, hearing this, wouldn't really know what to do, and in his confusion, he would summon the same amount of clones that he had in canon. And, well, Mizuki is defeated. Iruka would arrive, but he would just arrive to see Naruto defeating Mizuki in this timeline. He's not already there and hasn't already been injured and things of the sort. As he was just at a loss of words for how many Shadow Clones Naruto created and how powerful he was, especially for a mere academy student. and somebody who was going on to become a Genin. Later that day/night, whatever you want to call it, Naruto would become a Genin. And because Naruto did learn chakra control, he is going to pass still, right? But my thing is that I still do not see Naruto being even close to the #1 ninja. I still see him being at the bottom of the barrel, and you may ask me why. This Naruto should be very powerful. He has the strength, he has the speed, etc., etc. Strength, speed, and chakra control are not the only things that you need to become a ninja. You need smarts. When you are put on a test, you are supposed to regurgitate the information that you learned in school. Naruto is not a learner, per se. He is more of a fighter, right? So he's still going to get marks. That does not mean he's the worst academy student, but it does mean that he's the lowest ranked, especially in smarts. Naruto would be looked at as not the lowest of the low, but he would be looked at as the lowest academy student. I hope that makes sense, that everybody would view Naruto as pretty strong, but everybody would also view Naruto as the lowest ranking academy student. And I hope I was able to word that in a way that you guys would all be able to understand. So, Naruto still gets put on Team 7 with Sasuke and Sakura. I know some of you may not like Sakura, but she was put on the team by the series creator for a reason. Anyhow, Naruto would then see his sensei, as he would basically get a good understanding about what his sensei was like, at least appearance-wise, as he just saw Kakashi as being a very secluded person, a very, like, disguised person, kind of, like, quiet, things of the sort. As we now skip to the bell test, as I do believe that the introductions would go the same. With that being said, Naruto would stare down his soon-to-be sensei as he would get ready to fight, pulling out the kunai that he had saw his reflection with earlier, and smirking. Kakashi Hatake it was it not? Well, get ready for the greatest fight of your life. And with that being said, this has been What If Naruto had an Ancient Dojutsu Part 1. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to like, share the video to a friend, like what is entertainment content in general. Subscribe to my second channel, Rami XZ, where I also post what ifs and discussion videos. But with that being said, Rami X. Oh.